Every week in my shop, I watch drivers toss hundreds, sometimes thousands, straight into the trash. Not by getting scammed, not by bad luck, but by the same sneaky habits they repeat every day without thinking. You might think you're taking care of your car. You wash it. You change the oil. But if you're guilty of even 3 of the habits I'm about to show you, you're secretly draining your wallet, and you won't find out until a mechanic hands you a repair bill big enough to ruin your weekend. One of these costs $500 in one single afternoon. Another can wreck $1,500 worth of parts in less than a month. Today, we're going through 15 sneaky car habits that are slowly bankrupting you, with the exact dollar amount each mistake can cost. Let's start with the ones you're probably doing on your way to work every morning. Habit number 18, hard braking tacks. Every time you stomp the brake pedal like you're avoiding a deer in the road, you're lighting a $20 bill on fire. Heat from panic stops can spike rotor temperatures to over 1,200 degrees. At that heat, metal warps, brake pads glaze, and brake fluid boils, all of which kill braking performance and wear parts prematurely. A single set of warped rotors and fried pads, $900 to $1,500 per axle. And no, you can't just turn them if they're heat warped. Once the metal's structurally distorted, it's toast. I had a customer who liked to drive aggressively. We replaced his rotors 3 times in 18 months. He spent more on brakes than his car payment. The fix: look further ahead in traffic. Ease off the gas early. Use engine braking when coasting down hills. Not only does this double the lifespan of your brakes, but you'll also improve fuel economy by 5 to 10%. Habit 17, idling too long. I get it. Nobody likes getting into an ice-cold car in winter or a baking hot car in summer. So people start their engines and let them run for 10-15 minutes before driving off, thinking they're being gentle on the car. But in reality, that's one of the slowest and most expensive ways to warm up an engine. Here's why. Modern engines are designed to warm up under load, meaning while they're actually driving. When you idle for long periods, 2 bad things happen. First, unburned fuel from a cold engine seeps past the piston rings and into the oil, thinning it out. This process is called fuel dilution, and it turns that nice $50 synthetic oil you just paid for into watery, contaminated sludge. Second, at idle, your oil pump and cooling system are running at low speeds. That means the engine takes much longer to reach operating temperature. I've measured it in my shop. Idling to warm up can take 8-10 minutes to reach full oil temp, while gentle driving gets there in just 1 to 2 minutes. And don't forget the fuel waste. Letting a vehicle idle for 15 minutes every morning burns about a quarter gallon of gas. Do that 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, and you've wasted over 60 gallons. That's $200 to $250. The fix: start your car, wait about 30 seconds for the oil to circulate, and then drive off gently. Keep your RPMs low for the first couple of miles, and you'll warm up the engine up to 8 times faster. If it's comfort you want, invest in a remote start with a timer or a block heater. Both are cheaper than an engine rebuild. Habit 16, never rotating tires. Tires don't wear evenly. Your front tires carry the engine's weight, do most of the steering, and wear 2 faster than the rears. Rotating every 5,000 to 7,000 miles evens out the wear, extends tire life, and keeps handling predictable. If you're already paying for an oil change, most shops will rotate for free, so not doing it is like leaving $200 on the table every year. Habit 15, overloading the car. Most people think the only risk of carrying too much weight is sluggish acceleration. But overloading your car is like strapping a refrigerator to your back. Everything works harder, and everything wears out faster. Your vehicle has a gross vehicle weight rating, GVWR, printed on the door jamb. That's the maximum weight your car can safely carry, including passengers, cargo, and fuel. Go over that limit, and you're putting massive strain on your suspension, brakes, tires, and even the frame. Here's the math. Every extra 100 pounds you carry increases the force on your suspension during a hard stop by about 1,000 pounds. That extra stress warps rotors faster, overheats brakes, and can cause shocks and struts to blow out prematurely. And it's not just braking. Your tires heat up faster when overloaded, increasing the risk of a blowout at highway speeds. And here's something people forget. Your transmission also suffers. More weight means more load on the drivetrain, which increases heat in the transmission fluid. That extra heat breaks down fluid faster, which can lead to $3,000+ repairs if ignored. The fix? Check your GVWR, subtract the curb weight, you can find it in the manual or online, and stick to that payload limit. And yes, passengers count toward that total. 4 adults plus luggage can max out a mid-size sedan faster than you think. Bonus tip: if you're road tripping, keep heavy items low and toward the center of the car. This keeps your center of gravity stable and helps handling. And make it a habit to unload unnecessary junk in the trunk. Carrying around your golf clubs year-round isn't free. Habit number 14. Skipping coolant changes. Coolant isn't just there to keep your engine from overheating. It also prevents corrosion inside the cooling system. Over time, the additives that stop rust and scale break down, leaving your radiator, water pump, and heater core vulnerable. When coolant turns acidic, it starts eating away at aluminum components. I've seen water pump impellers worn down to stubs and radiators clogged with mineral sludge. Once that happens, your engine can overheat with little warning. Even one overheat can warp aluminum cylinder heads, blow head gaskets, and cost you $2,000 to $4,000 in repairs. The problem? Most people only check coolant levels, not the condition. Old coolant can look fine, but still be chemically spent. And mixing different types, like green with red or yellow, can trigger chemical reactions that form thick, gel-like deposits. The fix? Change your coolant every 3 to 5 years, depending on the type and your manufacturer's recommendations. Always use the exact formula your vehicle calls for, not universal unless it's truly compatible. Habit number 13. The lifetime fluid lie. When a manufacturer says your transmission fluid is lifetime, they're not talking about your lifetime, or even the car's lifetime. They mean the lifetime of the warranty, which for most cars is only 60,000 to 100,000 miles. After that, you're on your own. I've torn apart transmissions with 90,000 miles on lifetime fluid that looked like they'd been marinating in glittery mud. The fluid was full of clutch material, microscopic metal shavings, and varnish. It smelled burnt. And here's the cruel joke: the transmission still shifted fine. For now. That's the trap. By the time you notice symptoms like slipping, hard shifts, or delayed engagement, the damage is already done. And replacing or rebuilding a transmission, that's $3,500 to $7,500 depending on the car. And more if it's a luxury or performance model. Here's the reality. Transmission fluid degrades over time because of heat, friction, and contamination. Even if it looks okay to the eye, it can lose its protective additives long before the transmission fails. Heat is the biggest enemy. Towing, stop-and-go traffic, and heavy loads all make it worse. The fix: do a drain and fill every 60,000 miles, 90,000 for hybrids, or sooner if you drive in harsh conditions. And always use OEM spec fluid. Toyota WS for Toyotas, Honda ATF DW1 for Hondas, Mopar ATF +4 for Chryslers, and so on. Using the wrong fluid can cause as much damage as never changing it. Pro tip: never do a power flush on a high-mileage transmission that's never been serviced. It can dislodge debris that's actually helping the worn parts grip. In those cases, stick to partial fluid changes. Bonus tip: check your overflow tank monthly. If it's dropping without a visible leak, get a pressure test. Small leaks can become catastrophic quickly. Habit number 12. Bargain bin oil filters. An oil filter's job is simple: trap dirt, metal particles, and sludge before they circulate through your engine. But just because it looks like a metal canister doesn't mean it's built the same inside. Cheap filters often cut corners in 2 key ways: filter media quality and anti-drainback valve design. The filter media, that pleated paper inside, can be thinner, less dense, and poorly glued, which means it traps fewer contaminants and can even collapse under pressure. The anti-drainback valve, usually made of silicone in good filters, is often replaced with cheap nitrile rubber in bargain versions. Nitrile gets stiff in cold weather, which can delay oil delivery to critical engine parts during startup. Here's why that matters. Most engine wear happens in the first few seconds after you start the car, when oil hasn't yet fully reached the top end. If your filter's anti-drainback valve lets oil drain out of the galleries overnight, your engine starts dry more often. Over time, that accelerates wear on camshafts, lifters, and bearings. Poor filtration also means more abrasive particles keep circulating, essentially sandblasting your engine's internals. Even microscopic grit can score cylinder walls and damage piston rings. Once that starts, oil consumption goes up, compression goes down, and you're on the path to an expensive rebuild. The fix: spend the extra $5 to $10 on a quality filter. Stick with OEM-branded filters. If you use synthetic oil, match it with a high-capacity synthetic-rated filter so it lasts the full change interval. Habit number 11. Ignoring strange noises. Ticking, clunking, whining, squealing. If your car starts making a new sound, that's your early warning system talking. Too many drivers drown it out with the radio and hope it goes away. It won't. It'll get more expensive. Small noises often mean small problems. A worn belt, loose heat shield, or low fluid. Leave them unchecked and they can cause chain reactions. A squealing serpentine belt can snap and take out your water pump, alternator, and power steering in one go. A faint clunk in the suspension could be a loose ball joint, which, if it fails, can rip a wheel right off the car. The fix? Note when and where the sound happens. Cold start, turning, braking, at speed, over bumps, and get it inspected immediately. The more detail you give, the faster and cheaper the diagnosis. Habit number 10. Skipping the cabin air filter. That $25 cabin filter you keep forgetting about? It's your HVA system's lungs. Ignore it long enough and dust, pollen, and road debris will clog it solid. When that happens, your AC system works twice as hard to push air through, cooking the blower motor and straining the compressor. A dead compressor is a $1,200+ bill, all because a $25 part was skipped. Change it every 15,000 to 20,000 miles or once a year. More if you drive dusty roads. It takes 5 minutes to swap and will keep both your air and your wallet cleaner. Habit number 9. Ignoring tire pressure. Most drivers think of tire pressure as something you check only when the dash light comes on. But here's the problem. By the time that TPMS light illuminates, your tires are already dangerously underinflated. And dangerously isn't an exaggeration. I've seen it lead to blowouts, accidents, and thousands in repairs. When a tire is even 10% below its recommended pressure, a few things happen. First, the contact patch, the part of the tire actually touching the road, changes shape. Instead of wearing evenly, the tire wears more on the edges. That's why so many underinflated tires go bald on the sides while the middle still has tread. This uneven wear can cut your tire's lifespan by up to 15%. Underinflated tires create more rolling resistance. Your engine has to work harder to move the car, which means more fuel burned. Over a year, that can add $150 or more in fuel costs. And third, and most dangerous, underinflated tires build up heat faster. Heat is the enemy of tire integrity. At highway speeds, an overheated tire can fail catastrophically, especially in summer. I've seen minivans come in on a flatbed with shredded tires and damaged fenders just because they were running 8 psi low on a hot day. The fix is simple. Check your tire pressure once a month, not just when the light comes on. Use a $10 digital gauge and compare your reading to the number printed on the driver's door jamb, not the tire's sidewall. That number is what your vehicle's suspension and handling are designed around. And don't forget the spare. Nothing's worse than needing it and finding it flat. Habit number 8. The $500 urgent add-on. Ever gone in for a $50 oil change and left with a $600 repair bill? Yeah, that's not a coincidence. Service advisors are trained to push urgent add-ons while you're already there. Some of them are legit, most aren't. Example: a customer brought in a Honda for routine service. The dealer told her she needed a $400 throttle body cleaning. The car? Barely 18 months old. I checked. It was spotless. Rule: before saying yes, ask for proof. Photos, measurements, service specs from the manual. Then call an independent shop for a second opinion. In my experience, 1 in 3 urgent recommendations disappear the second another mechanic looks at it. Habit number 7. Not shopping around. Here's a fun fact. 2 shops can charge wildly different prices for the exact same repair. I've seen a $2,200 timing belt job done for $1,400 by a certified independent shop. Same OEM parts, same warranty. But most drivers never compare quotes because they feel pressured to just get it done where they are. Solution: When the repair isn't an emergency, get at least 2 written quotes. You can email shops the repair details. They'll quote you without seeing the car if you already have a diagnosis. Habit number 6. Skipping battery terminal maintenance. Your battery can be brand new, but if the terminals are caked with white or bluish corrosion, your car's electrical system is already struggling. That buildup increases resistance, making your starter work harder and your alternator run hotter, shortening their lifespan. Corrosion happens when battery acid vapors escape around the posts, reacting with the metal clamps. Left unchecked, it can block current flow enough to cause slow cranking, random electrical glitches, or complete no-start situations. Here's the kicker. Many dead battery calls are just dirty terminals. A $5 cleaning kit and 10 minutes of your time can prevent a $150 tow bill or a $250 to $400 alternator replacement. Inspect your battery every 3 to 4 months. If you see buildup, disconnect the cables, negative first, scrub the posts and clamps with a baking soda, water mix, or a dedicated cleaner. Rinse, dry, and coat with dielectric grease or terminal protectant spray. This seals out moisture and acid vapor. Bonus tip: some newer cars require radio codes or memory resets when the battery is disconnected. Check your manual before unhooking anything, or use a memory saver tool to keep electronics powered during cleaning. Habit number 5. Paying for useless additives. The little bottles of fuel system cleaner and engine treatment they keep next to the register, 9 times out of 10, they're snake oil. Sure, some high-quality fuel additives work in specific situations, but the generic ones pushed at quick lube shops are just colored solvents that do nothing but lighten your wallet. Worse, some can actually gum up injectors or mess with seals. If your fuel system's actually dirty, a professional cleaning is more effective and safer. Otherwise, save your $20 to $50 per bottle and put it toward actual maintenance. Habit number 4. The free inspection trap. Free multi-point inspection sounds great, until you realize the whole point is to find something to sell you. I'm not exaggerating when I say I've seen inspection sheets magically discover $800 worth of critical repairs on cars that were in perfect shape 2 weeks earlier. These inspections often list color-coded items: green for good, yellow for caution, red for urgent. Here's the trick: the yellow and red boxes? They're designed to trigger fear and urgency, so you'll approve more work. If you get one of these sheets, take it home. Research the listed items. Many times, they're preventative at best, unnecessary at worst. Habit number 3. Ignoring warning lights. That little check engine light? It's not a suggestion, it's your car begging for help. I've seen $50 oxygen sensor problems ignored until they turned into $2,000 catalytic converter replacements. Here's the thing. When a sensor fails, it can cause the engine to run rich or lean, which stresses other components. Wait too long, and you're not just fixing the sensor, you're replacing every part it damaged along the way. Rule: if the light comes on, scan it immediately. Many parts stores will read codes for free. Even if you can't fix it right away, knowing the problem lets you prevent collateral damage. Habit number 2. Never cleaning the undercarriage. Rust is a silent killer, and it starts faster than you think. One winter of salted roads can eat through brake lines, fuel tanks, and suspension arms. I've scraped frames so thin you could poke holes in them with a screwdriver. Ignoring undercarriage washes can turn a $50 cleaning into a $4,000 frame or brake system repair. If you live in a snow or coastal area, wash underneath at least once a month in winter and after any beach trips. Even better, hit it with a rust inhibitor spray once a year. Habit 1. Not engaging the parking brake. Most drivers think the park position alone is enough to hold their car. In reality, when you rely only on park, you're putting the entire weight of your vehicle on a small metal part inside the transmission called the parking pawl. The pawl is designed as a backup lock, not the primary way to secure your car. On flat ground, maybe it survives for years, but on any incline, that constant strain can wear or break it. Once it snaps, your car can roll away. Using the parking brake spreads the load. It locks the wheels directly, taking stress off the pawl and the transmission. And modern electronic parking brakes make this even easier. No handbrake yanking, just a button press. The fix: make it a habit to set the parking brake before shifting into park, even on flat roads. This way, the brake holds the car, and the pawl simply prevents slight movement. On hills, always turn your wheels toward the curb as an extra safety measure. Bonus tip: For manual transmissions, the parking brake isn't optional. It's essential. Leaving a manual in gear without the brake risks slow rolling, especially if the car gets bumped. So there you have it. 15 sneaky habits that quietly drain your wallet. Some of them cost you a few extra bucks here and there. Others, they'll wipe out your savings in one bad day. The good news, every single one of them is 100% avoidable. Drive smoother. Maintain smarter. Question everything at the shop. And for the love of your bank account, stop letting free inspections and lifetime fluids sucker you into $1,000 mistakes. If you've caught yourself doing even half of these, don't feel bad. Most drivers do. The difference is, now you know. And that knowledge can save you tens of thousands over the life of your car. Share this video with the one friend who's probably doing all of these habits right now. You'll save them money, and maybe your own ears from hearing them complain about their next repair bill.